What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the North Shore 9 podcast presented by FanDuel. It's The Point. It's our second episode of the offseason where we bring on four esteemed guests to talk about the Pirates and what's gonna happen this offseason. So I'm Jim. With me tonight, we'll start in the top left corner. From the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review, you can find all his writing at triblive.com. Kevin Gorman. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Awesome. And on the top right, from Bucco Bantr, you can find all kinds of Pirates content on his Twitter page, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, podcasts, everything. Adam Shorr. Adam, welcome to The Point.
Thanks, Jim. Good to be back.
Good stuff. And the two people on the bottom from North Shore 9. We'll start with the bottom left. Nathan Osler. Nathan, happy
What's
Friday.
Up? Thank you for inviting me last minute.
Yeah, we needed a fourth, and you came in. We had to go to the bullpen. DiNardo, bottom right. Anthony DiNardo, my co-host on Bucco Brew. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Jim. How about you? I haven't seen you on Twitter for a while, so kind of wondering about you.
Yeah. That Twitter fiasco, it is the most insane thing in the world. I finally got my account back, and then it gets suspended, so now I still can't tweet. We'll figure it out. We
are enjoying it. Trust us.
Well, I can't tell if you are or not, so continue to enjoy it. All right, so let's talk about how tonight's going to go. Again, we're going to keep it to 30 minutes. We got two topics, both pertaining to the Pirates offseason. We're going to go around the horn style. I'm going to ask the question. Everyone's going to have a chance to talk, and then everybody's going to have a chance to kind of have a little rebuttal after everyone's had a turn. At the end of the show, all of you in the audience, I'm going to put up a poll on our YouTube page, and you get to vote for the winner. The winner of the show gets absolutely nothing except bragging rights. But yeah, it's a big deal. So make sure you vote here at the end of the show and kind of keep track of who you think you want to vote for. But you guys ready to get started?
Let's do it.
All right. So starting off with a little icebreaker here. Next week is Thanksgiving. My favorite Thanksgiving side dish. When I alternate Thanksgivings, one year I'll do it at my side of the family. Other year I do it at my wife's side of the family. My wife's side of the family, they make this hash brown casserole dish. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. By far my favorite Thanksgiving side dish. I want to know all of your all's favorite Thanksgiving side dish. Let's start with DiNardo.
I think my personal favorite is broccoli cheddar rice casserole. It's just elite. I mean, those are three things that are just really, really good. You get your vegetables, so you got mom off your back, right? And then like cheese and rice. Come on, guys. So yeah, I mean that's hands down my favorite, and like to me, that's something you can also eat cold or hot. So just perfect.
It's a strong choice. Kevin, how about you?
I'm big on the fixins. So but right now, I guess I'm torn a little bit between stuffing and, the sweet potato yams, anything like that. Those are easily top two for me.
Love it. I mean, you can't go wrong with stuffing. I mean, that's for sure. Adam, how about you?
I think the best part about Thanksgiving is you could just throw everything on your plate. It doesn't matter whether it's sweet or savory. Everything just mashes together. It's not a time to be healthy. We're going pumpkin casserole with the torched marshmallows on the top. I could eat that for a week straight, let alone that night I'm probably going to have half of it.
Oh, yeah. You go for seconds and thirds and fourths. Yeah, it's the one day where you don't have to limit yourself.
No.
Nathan, bring us home.
Give me a good mac and cheese. I think it's pretty simple, just like that. You can't go wrong with it. As a picky eater myself, everyone loves mac and cheese. You don't have to worry about people hating it most of the time. So very simple. Mac and cheese.
I'm with you. I never had mac and cheese as a side dish until I sort of moved to the kind of South. And yeah, I mean, mac and cheese is a side dish. There's some people who like say like you cannot have mac and cheese as a side dish for Thanksgiving, and I say those people are crazy.
Oh, they're wrong.
All right, well let's jump into the Pirates offseason. So, all right, topic 1. We have had some crazy reports this week. Multiple outlets, multiple reporters, national, local, everybody in between, saying that the Pirates are going to be unlikely big spenders this offseason. They were in on Josh Naylor. They're in on Kyle Schwarber. I saw a report today on ESPN that said the Pirates were one of the 5 most likely teams to land Pete Alonso. So my question to each of you is, are you buying this at all? Let's start with Adam. Adam, are you buying this?
I think talk is cheap. I think Paul Skeens said it best the other day when he won Cy Young. Everybody was asking him questions about whether or not they're going to win in Pittsburgh and what they can do. And yeah, talk is cheap. You got to show up and do the damn thing. And we've heard from the past couple of years, we've tried to sign free agents. We're trying. Well, there's a big difference between like we want to and we will, right? So if you're coming out and say, hey, we will spend money, we're going to increase our payroll, unless we get that rhetoric or we get that language out there, you kind of have to see it to believe it. So as a skeptical Pirates fan and somebody who's seen this every single offseason, I'm not buying it until a move is actually made. You could say, hey, we've made these offers and we're giving Josh Naylor an offer, we're giving Pete Alonso an offer, but until we know what those numbers are, until somebody signs, talk is cheap.
All right. Nathan, you buying it?
So I am very skeptical of it, and I think it's very deserved that Pirates fans are skeptical of it. It was just a couple days ago. We all thought, oh my gosh, Kyle Schwarber, what on earth? And last season, it was the Tommy Phams of the world. It's crazy how fast you have Paul Skeens has just changed everything. Like Eric Kratz even was asking Robert Murray on the Foul Territory podcast, saying, why are they even spending? When a former player is asking, why are they spending? That is why it is skeptical. They've done it to themselves to make fans not want to believe it. And until, like Adam just said, until they actually do it, it's fair to be skeptical of it. And personally, I am very skeptical. Sure, they were in on Josh Naylor. Maybe they almost got him, but did they get him? No, he's a Mariner again. Are they going to get Kyle Schwarber? Probably not. If they're in on him, cool. But are they going to get him? No, I don't think they will. So until they actually make the deal that proves it, it's very easy to not believe any of it.
All right. Kevin, buying it?
Hearing that the Pirates are willing to spend $110 million or somewhere in that ballpark is contrary to everything I heard in August, which was the payroll would be closer to what it was last season, somewhere in the $85 to $90 million range, which ranked among the 5 lowest in baseball. Should the Pirates spend? Yes. Will they spend? I don't know. I'm with you guys. Seeing is believing. But given that the home opener, they had a plane flying over that said, sell the team, Bob, that just this past weekend, last Saturday, before the Notre Dame at Pitt game, there was another plane flying over for a college football game telling, Bob Nutting to sell the team. Given all of the crazy things that happened in and around the ballpark last year, all of the disappointments, the lower attendance, and then to have it capped off that on the day you have a pitcher win the Cy Young Award for the first time in 35 years, and a guy who's one of the elite players, not just pitchers, but elite players in Major League Baseball, have to deal with rumors that he wants to be traded to the Yankees ultimately. And after the rumors to start the season that, that the Pirates trade Paul Skeens before his first full Major League season, the Pirates should be in panic mode to some degree and should be willing to spend, especially knowing that there's a possibility for a lockout after the 2026 season. They should be in win now mode. They know the Skeens window is closing. It's closing fast, and that they have to do something to maximize it. So do I think they're going to spend? Maybe not to the extent that people are projecting, but I do think they're going to spend more than they have in the past couple of years, although they have spent about $30 million in free agency in years past, but it's been kind of on maybe a half dozen players. So they haven't given out the big salary or the multi-year deals, and it's time for them to do just that.
Yep. DiNardo, buying it?
What are you buying? What are you buying? The question, or the thing that's being touted, is the Pirates are going to spend in free agency. Well, they've already stripped down their team. I mean, they're hovering at an estimated $63 million. If they spend $30 million, as like people are talking about, they could be more, bigger in free agency than they normally are, $30-40 million. That still ain't $100 million. If you're taking this as they're going to be spenders in free agency, as if they're also going to have an increased payroll, no, I'm not buying that. And you should be silly to think that. But in order to get to even last year's payroll, they're going to have to spend about $30 million. So I'm buying the fact that they're going to spend about $30 million because that's going to get them to last year's payroll. I mean, think about this. As constructed, if they had Josh Naylor, if they signed him, they could sign 2 Josh Naylors. They still don't reach $100 million. So what are you buying here? That's my take on it. Yeah, they're going to spend about $30 million. They pretty much have to. They're still poor. They're still like bottom 2 in payroll this year.
But here's the thing. If they go out and get a Kyle Schwarber, and I'm not saying they're going to, but Kyle Schwarber had 56 homers and 132 RBIs last season. The Pirates had one of the worst, if not the worst, offense in Major League Baseball. Those 56 home runs equate to what O'Neal Cruz, Brian Reynolds, Andrew McCutchen, and Henry Davis combined for. Those 132 RBIs are too shy of what Reynolds and Cruz, their top 2 run producers, had last season. I mean, to me, that's money well spent if you're going to get that type of production. And you're talking about a guy in Schwarber who's going to be 33 at the start of the season and is in, I just read an interesting story from Travis Sawchek on MLB.com about how he's actually improving as a hitter in some areas in terms of exit velocity and bat speed. This is a guy who can continue to put up those numbers, especially when you take a left-handed power bat who's a pull hitter and put him with that short right field porch in the Clemente Wall at PNC Park.
Yeah, I think Schwarber. I mean, Schwarber makes a ton of sense. The thing with Schwarber is you're gonna have a lot of people vying for his services. Adam, back to you. You mentioned obviously like talk is cheap. You have to see it. You're not really buying it until a move is made. The Pirates' largest free agency deal in total dollars committed up to this point is $39 million. Are they going to break that this year?
You have to. Positive Adam, who has hope in the offseason, says absolutely, because it resets for me. We get going. I'm like, yeah, they're going to go sign Kyle Schwarber. They're going to go be in on Josh Naylor. Do I think they can give a 3-year deal that breaks $39 million? I think so. And I think part of us talking about the planes flying around and the protests and being loud as fans, I think right now you have the window of Paul Skeens and you have Connor Griffin, who I think has helped pushing the narrative of him potentially being a starting shortstop. You could just be 1 bat, 2 bats away from actually making a difference in this lineup. Like Gorman was saying, that type of production goes a long way for a team that was last in the league in home runs, RBIs, slugging, and OPS. So if you're asking me, do I think? I think I'm hopeful that they will go out and make a splash move. Do I think it's going to be a Kyle Schwarber? No, but I think they could probably do 1 or 2 deals that either surpass that or just 1 deal for 1 guy who could potentially add protection for guys like Brian Reynolds and O'Neal Cruz in a lineup that make a significant difference.
So you think they could, or you think they will?
I think they will.
All right. Nathan, similar question. Haven't had a multi-year free agent signing since Ivan Nova, way back in, I think it was 2015 or 16. Do they get a multi-year free agent this year?
I sure hope so. And here's why I agree with what Adam was saying. I was thinking about something as he was talking about the premise of like the plane circling. This team's already been surrounded with so much negative press relations since opening day. You had the Bucco bricks, you had the Clemente sign, you had an usher getting into a fight. Now you have the team, supposedly the conspiracy theory of leaking that they're going to sign a guy to Jeff Passan, which I don't understand, because that would bring you even more bad PR if they don't do anything. But there's a certain event called Pirates Fest coming up. You know how you might be able to win some fans back over? Introduce your first multi-year free agent at Pirates Fest. Have them sign the contract in front of all the fans who are already so angry. Couldn't you imagine if they actually went out and got a Kyle Schwarber? Not saying they will, because I don't think they will. But imagine they actually had Kyle Schwarber put the pen to paper at Pirates Fest during the management Q&A. Wouldn't you think that might actually turn some heads and maybe, you know, win some people over? Like, this is clearly a do or die offseason for me, because, like, if you don't do it now, you're probably going to have a lockout next year. Players are going to lose years of control. Paul Skeens is basically, this is win now with Paul Skeens. So you have to do it this year. If you don't do it this year, I don't know when it would happen. So I say, I think it happens, but I have my doubts.
DiNardo, back to you. There's a comment here I want to ask you. What is it that, like, the Pirates have clearly not cared much about their fans or what they think or positive PR past. What would have changed at this point?
You're asking me that?
Yeah. Like, why would the Pirates change?
They're not.
Just because of
not.
Of I
mean, think about it. We've have years of precedence here to show that, like, everything Nate just said, like, that would be great. Sure. Show up with your big time free agent, have them sign at Pirates Fest. This is also the people that gave their fans expired water at Pirates Fest and didn't care enough to spell Andrew McCutcheon's name right. So again, like, if you're wondering about a team, if they're worried about PR and, like, maybe this is the year we should start doing it, they haven't shown me anything yet to say, like, you know what, maybe that's something we should even worry about. So, like, nothing tells me this offseason is like, oh, we got to put the, you know, our foot's on the accelerator to go ahead and win our fans back. I mean, if anything, I mean, they had a survey come out last year, a survey to the fans. Do you guys like us or not? And everyone said, we hate you. We despise you. We're going to keep coming to the games. We hate you. And they said, all right, cool. We're going to have the worst PR year ever. Right? So, like, that doesn't tell me that this offseason is going to be any different to years past in that sense.
Gorman, the $39 million. Do they give a free agent more than $39 million this offseason?
I'm not convinced that they will. I expect them to go after guys that are probably younger with years of control in trades. That seems to be their MO. And but I mean, $39 million is not a big hurdle. You know, we're not talking about a lot of money. So, I mean, if they gave let's say they gave a 3-year, $60 million contract, that would be a huge contract in the Pirates' eyes, but not throughout Major League Baseball. You know, I mean, just to be the first $20 million a year player for them under this regime. But to kind of piggyback on the last question is, you know, I don't think it's more a matter of shame if the Pirates do spend. It may be more a matter of coercion that the Players Association has filed grievances against the teams like the Pirates and the Athletics for their spending habits or lack thereof. You know, Major League Baseball could be leaning on the Pirates that if you're one of the teams that wants to change the financial structure of the game and prevent a lockout, perhaps, you know, coming up and having something that resembles a salary floor could be a way to, you know, kind of instigate everything by saying, you know, every team in baseball should at least spend $100 million, that we shouldn't have one team spending close to $400 million and another team still below $100 million. So maybe that's the game leaning on the teams. But I do think the Pirates are going to spend. I just don't think, like, I throw out Kyle Schwarber just for statistical reasons, why he would be worth it in terms of the production. I don't think they're going to get Kyle Schwarber. I don't think Pete Alonso is realistic. And I honestly, I don't think the Pirates, if they're going to spend, it's going to be somebody in their early to mid 30s. I think it's going to be somebody in their 20s. And that's the direction maybe they should be heading, is that they have a young team and they may want to bring in veterans, but I also think that those veterans should have years of club control and not be a contract that's an albatross for the organization.
All right. So moving on to our next topic. Again, very much. Let's take over the Pirates. Let's take over the Pirates. Let's make them a playoff team. You are Ben Sherrington. You've got your entire current roster and minor league system at your disposal. You also have $30 million more that you can spend. I want to know, what are the moves that you are making this offseason to make the 2026 Pirates a playoff contender? Let's start with Nathan. Nathan, what do you got?
Okay, so my big fish signing, if anyone in the Discord knows, I'm a big Kazuma Okamoto fan. I think he, of the two Japanese players, is by far the most realistic to be a free agent bat that the Pirates could go get. I did give a contract to make sure I followed the rules with this. I did 4 years, 64. I'd used his MLB trade rumors projections, so that would equal 16 per for him. Here's the thing about Okamoto, what I like compared to Murakami. Sure, Murakami has the most power, but Okamoto just does not strike out. You look at his baseball reference page, his strikeout percentage is very low. He's very patient at the plate. I think and he also does have pop as well. Sure, maybe his defense might not be the greatest, but I'm willing to sacrifice that because these last few years it's been glove over bat. I think we need to go bat over glove for a few games or weeks or whatever it is, just so we can have some production out of third base. Then I went after Ryan O'Hearn. He could be a first base outfielder, designated hitter option. I gave him 2 years, 22.5, so 11.25 per for him. We saw the Josh Naylor rumors. If they're willing to get a Josh Naylor to pair with Spencer Horwitz, maybe you get Ryan O'Hearn to add some lefty pop to a lineup that desperately needs a lefty that can hit home runs, because Ryan O'Hearn can give you upwards close to 20 of those. And maybe we get weird and play Spencer Horwitz at times at second base, or you pair O'Hearn with the next guy I have, Andrew McCutchen, of course. You play him at DH every so often as well. I did another $5 million deal, 5 years deferred if we want to do it that way. Then I actually, to gain some more money here, because I texted Jim to see if this was legal or not, I did trade Mitch Keller. I don't have the exact package. I don't want them to trade Mitch Keller. I would love them to keep him. But I was able to, I brought in Jarren Duran. Personally, I don't think this will happen, but $7.7 million for Duran. I'm fine with it. I play him in the outfield, plug him in there. He would be an option. And then my final contract, I wanted to add a good reliever that is a left-hander. I went with Andrew Chafin. He just looks like a Yinzer. I think Yinzers would love this dude. Very solid year last year, 1 year, $5 million. Chafin has been a guy that for some weird reason, I'm like, the Pirates should get him. They just don't get him ever. He's getting up there in age, so that might hold him to a cheaper deal. So I am going, those are my 5. And my big fish, I really want them to go out and make a multi-year deal for a guy like Okamoto, because I would love the Pirates to test the waters in the Japanese baseball market. It's been a while since they've gone foreign with Asia area. You had Jung-Ho Gung, and that was to a way cheaper deal at the time. But if you got Okamoto, I think that would be a lot of fun. And honestly, I'd buy the jersey on the spot. So that's how I fix the Pirates.
All right. Little wild on the Keller for Duran trade. Well, we may revisit that, but Adam, how about you? What are we doing?
We're going bats, regardless of positional flexibility. And some of these guys might be able to play a corner, some multiple infield positions. But as I mentioned earlier, last in home runs, last in RBI, last in slugging, last in OPS. Don't win games with Paul Skeens if you can't score more than 2 runs. So we're going to try and maximize what we have and bring in as many bats as possible. Not like other years where we're maybe giving out 1-year deals here and there, and then those guys are out and about to another club. We're going to go Okamoto. I like that signing. I had him for around the 4 to 64. He was hurt last year. He still hit 15 home runs. This is a guy who had 6+ 30 home run seasons, capping at 41. There's some issues with increased velocity. I know the numbers drop off after 94 miles per hour. You're not really seeing that increased velo in Japan. Give that guy 1,000 at bats in the States. I think he catches up. Then we're going Jorge Polanco. I think this is an underrated guy on the market who, if you look at him, he could play pretty much anywhere in the infield. He has been an all-star. He has hit the long ball. He just provides so much experience for what this team could possibly want. He's cut down his K rate over the past couple of years. And outside of the 1 year that he was hurt and playing injured, he's hit every single year of his career. And then we're going to go to the obvious, the elephant in the room. Mitch Keller is good as gone. You cannot mess up the Mitch Keller trade. If you're going to get rid of one of your most reliable arms, a guy that's not injured, who's your innings eater, a veteran in that staff, you got to go out and get somebody who's also going to complement that staff, and that's Adley Rutschman. Okay. You cannot afford to have a Henry Davis behind the plate, regardless of what Paul Skeens thinks. I know the defense has increased. Get that veteran catcher who has had a down year in the system, but he's a switch hitting bat like Polanco, who could add that slugging, who can add that power, and who's going to be able to handle that staff. Not to mention one of the best clubhouse guys in Major League Baseball. Everybody likes Adley Rutschman. One thing that this team has lacked is just the chemistry of building that winning culture. And I think Adley can help bring that not only to the team as a whole with the bat, but also to the pitching staff as well. And then my one trade where it's going to be more of a, let's see what this guy has. We're going to go get Jordan Beck from the Colorado Rockies. Now, I know the strikeout rate is high, but if you look at the overall numbers, he seems to be primed for a breakout year if he can make a couple of swing adjustments. He's only had one full season in Major League Baseball. And I mean, he was a 90 WRC plus guy, hit 258, 317, 416 with 16 home runs. And you might say, hey, those are at Coors Field. Half of them were on the road. He's 83rd percentile in speed, nearly stole 20 bags. I think he can man left field for you. You have years of control. And Colorado has a tough time getting any free agent pitching out there. Send a guy like Thomas Harrington, who at the most is maybe going to be like a middle relief guy for you. Now that this staff has really rounded itself out with Hunter Barco, Oviedo's back, he's not going to contribute in that manner. Send him off, get another bat so you don't have to trot out Jack Sawinski in left field.
All right. I like it. Gorman, you're up. How are you making?
I'm swinging big. I'm going for the free agent signing. If I have the wherewithal, I'm going after Munetaka Murakami. And I've seen numbers thrown out around him, 4 years, $75 million. I don't know if that gets it done, but I'd be willing to outbid the Dodgers to try to get a guy like that who can play third base or first base. He will be 26 in February. 246 home runs, and we're talking in Japan, but a 56 homer season in 2022, 22 homers in 56 games last season. More important to me is that he's fared well on the international stage in the World Baseball Classic at a young age against major league pitching. I care more about that than the ridiculous numbers of breaking, Sadaharu O's, single season record in 2022. But that's my major move that I'm making there is in free agency. I'm worried about his strikeout rate. I'm worried about that he has a low walk rate. Those are concerns. And this is going to sound a little bit different here. If I'm going after him, I'm going after him as my power bat. That's the big guy that I want in the lineup. There's a part of me, though, that thinks the Pirates really, the words that I heard inside that locker room all season was about how this was a team without an identity. And that maybe that's the Pirates have to figure out first is what they want their identity to be. I like both the acquisitions that have been floated out there of Duran and of Rutschman. Those are two guys that I would have targeted. But I also have to kind of look at it as if you're going to go after a Duran or the guy that I would be interested in, Stephen Kwan from the Cleveland Guardians, that apparently he's available by trade and could be coming in at like $8.5 million, which I think is a fair value. But you have to decide whether you want guys that are going to hit and run the bases or whether you want guys that are going to slug. And in this case, Murakami would solve the slugging, I believe. And I would be looking for a left fielder like Kwan or Duran. I don't think Kwan's going to take as much to get. I'd be willing to dangle Johan Oviedo, given that the Guardians last year, gave up Horwitz for Ortiz. And you think if they're willing to make that trade, maybe Oviedo is an enticing guy as well. But so that's my big things are addressing either first base or third base. I'd prefer my slugger to play first base and have Jared Triolo playing third and have the defense on the left side of the infield if Connor Griffin's going to be your shortstop, that he's not over there with somebody who's defensively deficient as a guy who's a 19, 20-year-old playing Major League Baseball. That's just my preference. And then on top of that, some of the guys that were non-tendered are intriguing to me. And so the one guy that I'm most interested in, I think he's a bit of a project right now because he's dealt with some injuries, including Tommy John, is Alek Manoah, who's a guy I think the Pirates were very interested in coming out when he was coming in the draft. And I would think that Ben Cherington, having worked for Toronto, probably has some familiarity with him. So those are the moves that I'm looking at is possibly adding Manoah. But I also think the Pirates need to, look into possibly acquiring a left-handed pitcher. So that's another move that I think is something that has to be considered.
All right. I like the splashes. DiNardo, bring us home on this one. How are you making the Pirates a playoff team?
A theme here is there's been a lot of options, a lot of names thrown out here. And I think that's the one thing about this offseason that is kind of like in the Pirates' favor, more or less, but something I think that's going to be smart. I don't have per se like I'm doing this, and maybe some of you guys, because I think what's going to be best and what you need to understand is things have to fall in place. Like I feel like the Pirates need to go get somebody, right? Like the somebody I might go after is like a Ryan O'Hearn, right? I think there's going to be a big fish. I like a Ryan O'Hearn. It's kind of like a Spencer Horwitz plus to some level, right? Not a whole lot of power, but it gets on base, hits for a good average, something the Pirates haven't done really good at for a while as well. And like going back to the identity thing, like what Gorman said, I don't think this is going to be a team that's going to outslug guys. So like, I don't think you're really going to go out there and let's go. First off, a Schwarber is probably just not going to happen, right? But like adding a Schwarber helps, right? But like I don't think this team's going to say like let's go this year and just like be a slugger. Let's go out and hit home runs. They're still going to be like bottom half if they go get Schwarber in. Who knows what else? So I think like a guy like an O'Hearn makes sense. Go get serious. Go get someone to stabilize something so that like, your options start like falling in place. Because now you have O'Hearn. I like the Spencer Horwitz a second. I'm actually buying more into this because the identity thing also is. Going to Adam's point about like not really caring where guys play, I don't think defense is going to be a priority. Not that it has been, but I don't think like, hey, this guy can't really play the position well. You know what? Who cares? He can hit. Let's make it happen. This pitching staff is so good anyways. You know what? Balls in play are going to happen. Paul Skeens on the mound. Who cares? Right? So I think like a Hearn makes sense. I like a guy like a Polanco, maybe to fill in third. Has some flexibility as well. I think those two guys make a whole lot of sense. And again, like I think Mitch Keller is getting traded. I think the thing about Mitch Keller is there has to be a certain return that you want. If you go out there and narrow down what the Mitch Keller return is going to be, that limits your options. So I feel like getting O'Hearn, maybe getting a Jorge Polanco, you kind of can cast that net. Like, do we want an outfielder like Duran? Which, by the way, Nathan, ain't going to happen. But I understand the point there. Get a Rutschman. Like you can use Keller to then fill in what you need. Right. And again, I think it's happening because I don't think you're building a contending team on $25 million. So I'm going out there and is it an Alec Boehm? Is it a Rutschman? Is it an outfielder from the Red Sox or such? And with trading him, like Gorman said, I want another lefty. I want a starter, right? Because if you lose Keller, you're losing some innings, you're losing some insurance. Let's go bring back our boy Quintana. He's not going to be that expensive. The guy's still productive. He was loved here already. He seemed like he enjoyed his time when he was here before they shipped him out. So, like, bring him back. You kind of substitute Mitch Keller, Quintana. You get another lefty in here, which can help out with that rotation. That's kind of what I'm going with this. And like I said, I'm making a few moves, and then I'm letting things fall to me.
All right. Nathan, back to you. The Duran trade. I don't know if that's happening, but I want you to, you've been talking nonstop about Okamoto. What is it about him that is so, that is so enticing to you?
So first of all, I did want to clarify with the Duran thing. I meant it as not a 1-for-1. I just didn't have enough time to say like there would be prospects involved. So probably a Termar, probably a Harrington, but other than that. So I'm very enticed in Okamoto just because I really want the Pirates to explore overseas talent. Bring some more fans into this team. We saw like the money too. So look at the Dodgers right now. Japan is owned by Dodgers fans. They have found a fan base. If you want to win some global fans over, make some Pirates fans. Okamoto is going to bring some fans from Japan over to games. They're going to get advertisements in the ballpark. Just look at when Ohtani's hitting everywhere he goes. There's a Japanese advertisement behind PNC Park. If Bob wants to make money, but that's just not even the big point. But Okamoto mainly. He's going to add something to this team that I think is really good. His ability not to strike out that much. This team struck out way too much. O'Neal Cruz struck out a lot. Brian Reynolds struck out a lot. The Pirates need less strikeouts from their best players to actually get on base. And Okamoto can get on base. And he can also hit the ball pretty hard. And he's going to be cheaper than a Munetaka Murakami, who I would honestly love them to get. And honestly, I'm not buying the whole, like, he can't hit fastballs over 94 miles per hour. I know that tweet went viral, but, like, he'll adjust. But the thing with Okamoto, what I like the most, he's not a guy who strikes out a lot. If you just look at his baseball reference, and I urge everyone watching this, or like any of you guys after, just take a look at his page. It is actually very impressive just doing the research on this guy and like other guys coming over from Japan, from Korea. Even we didn't even talk about Song that much, which personally I'm not really interested in him as much as Okamoto, but he'd be a good backup option for me if the Pirates wanted to explore that option of going overseas for that talent. But Okamoto is a guy that I think Pirates fans would just love, because I know Pirates fans, especially the ones on Facebook, hate strikeouts, and Okamoto does not strike out. So that is why I really want Okamoto on this team.
Adam, to you, you were also big on Okamoto. My question for you, because something that was pretty common, at least among three people, Mitch Keller. Is there any way that you see that this team can get to where they need to offensively while paying Mitch Keller $16 million?
They're going to tell us they can't. Right? Like everything, all the narrative behind this entire offseason is we can make these moves under the assumption that Mitch Keller is gone. And I love Mitch Keller. If there was a way to keep Mitch Keller in this rotation, I'd say 10 out of 10 times we need to make it happen. But those just aren't the cards that were dealt as Pirates fans, unfortunately. We have to get creative with this roster if we're going to take advantage of the Paul Skeens, Connor Griffin window where these guys are going to make magic on the field together, right? If we're going to throw all of our cards in, we have to maximize what we have on this roster, and we have pitching, right? So deal from strength. You did it last year with Luis Ortiz. You brought in Spencer Horwitz, who I think could be a really good part to this team moving forward, but you have to deal Mitch Keller. Unfortunately, you just cannot get the trade wrong. That's why, I see a lot of comments like, hey, Adley Rutschman hit 220 last year. Okay, I don't put much value in that at all. If you look at what Henry Davis is doing in this lineup, okay, Adley Rutschman is a very good Major League Baseball player. Okay, he's been hurt. It's a switch hitter who can provide a ton of power from the left side, and more importantly, is going to be able to command the most important part of your team and the one part of your team that you have figured out in the pitching staff. So my answer is like you have to trade Mitch Keller. I don't think they can make any of these moves. You can't go get the Okamotos of the world, the Jorge Polancos of the world, or get creative with the rest of the roster unless you get rid of the guy that's making the most money on your pitching staff and has the most trade value in this market right now. Starting pitching, is the hardest thing to come by nowadays. And Mitch Keller is not only a guy that's going to give you quality start after quality start, he's never been injured in his career. And that goes a long way. So maximize that value. Don't get it wrong and bring in somebody who's going to be here for a couple of years and help this team take it to the next level.
Gorman, you were the one who didn't trade Keller. I'm curious, you addressed first base, you addressed corner outfield. What's your infield looking like in this scenario? Well,
first of all, I would trade Mitch Keller. I just didn't in that scenario.
Okay.
I think it's a no-brainer. I think they should have probably been. They were willing to trade him at the deadline, and it wasn't a starting pitcher's market. And they knew that at his salary that he was expensive for the Pirates, but that is kind of mid-rotation salary for the rest of Major League Baseball, and they know that that's a huge trade chip for them because he's a workhorse, an innings eater. Gets his share of strikeouts. He just hasn't been the ace of the staff, and that's to some fault of his own, but more, has more to do with Paul Skeens, being so exceptional, and then the emergence of Bubba Chandler, who may have pushed him to the number 3 spot in the rotation. What was your question again, though, about the middle infield?
Yeah, like what would your infield look like in this situation where you've got Murakami, you brought in Kwan. I mean, you pushing Horwitz to second? Is that what you're doing? And then
I'm not pushing Horwitz to second. I think Horwitz could be a guy, could be a multi-positional guy for the Pirates. If he's a big part of the team, if they're addressing first base, he might be a trade candidate. There's a chance they do something with him. I think second base is very important, just as I mentioned with third base with Triolo, to surround Connor Griffin with guys. And Connor Griffin can play shortstop. I saw him play in his debut at Altoona. The guy looks very smooth at the position, but he just doesn't have a ton of games under his belt there as a pro. He's more of a natural center fielder, as we saw in spring training, and that's what he played with Team USA. I think Nick Gonzalez can play second base. I think his bat's got to come through. I don't know that the Pirates, given that he was Ben Cherington's first ever draft pick, that they're going to give up on him this quickly. But I think there's very much some pressure on him. If there was a guy that I could add in free agency, and if I could get him for the right price, which I don't know, he was 2 years, $11 million in his last contract. Based on the way he played in the World Series, I would love for the Pirates to add someone like Miguel Rojas. The plays that he made in the World Series were spectacular. And to bring in somebody who's been a winner, to somebody who can play multiple positions. He's played second, short, and third, I believe. That to me would be a real steal. That's one I failed to mention in my GM moves, but that would be a guy, if you're not going to go with Gonzalez, he's not bringing you much at the bat, but certainly defensively and in terms of leadership and being a glue guy, those would be traits that I would value.
DiNardo, you're the only one who didn't sign from someone from the international market. Why not?
It's funny because when I say this is also something the Pirates I feel need to do to be good, and that's to take risks. There's a lot of risks in those, and I think those guys are going to command a lot more dollars than maybe what's out there. And do the Pirates want to take that big of a risk on someone like that who, frankly, pitched in the league that Cody Ponce was the best pitcher in? Right? Right? Yep. There is a lot of risk. I understand, he can't hit 94 miles per hour, and maybe that's not accurate, but maybe it is. Guys do that here. They don't really do that over there that much. So I think there's a lot of risk involved in those guys. And the last thing you really want to is them to go out there and invest $15, $18, $20 million into a guy overseas and they fail, and then try to ask Bob to open up his wallet later. So I think I want a little more reassurance. Some guys that are home, maybe not have the ceiling, right? Those guys have, but you kind of know what you're getting in them. And again, we keep talking about this team only needs to be a below average offense for them to be a playoff contender. So it's not that I really want to stay away. Trust me, if they sign them, I'll be happy. But I think there's just a lot of risk that I don't know the Pirates are in a position right now to take on those guys.
Got it. We're 43 minutes in, so I'm going to cut this a little short. I'm going to give each of you 15 seconds to explain why you should win before I open up the polls. So let's start with Nathan. Nathan, why should you be the winner of the point tonight?
I should be the winner because I'll just keep it simple. It's time for the Pirates to put up or shut up this offseason. They have to actually go out and make moves. It's enough of you got to put on your big boy pants, go out, you put out the quotes out there. Now you got to do it, or even more fans are going to be mad at you, even if they already aren't mad. So go out and do something.
Adam.
I gave you 2 reasonable free agent signings and reasonable moves that fit this organization's MO. We're not going to get too crazy with it. Like I said, we're going to deal with the cards that were dealt. And I think those simple moves and spending a little bit more money makes this team better.
Gorman.
I think the Stephen Kwan one should put me over the top. I think I'm the only one who brought up bringing in a guy like that who can hit infield and make left field better at PNC Park. So that's the only thing I can think of that pushes me over the top of everyone else, other than just straight looks.
Obviously. DiNardo.
The hair.
I mean, the guy Nathan right left me, I think, has 37 pieces of Pirates flair. You can't trust that fanboy. What he's saying. Well, the guy above me, I mean, that is Spencer Horwitz, right? Adam is, I mean, that is Spencer Horwitz. You can't trust an actual Pirate telling you what the Pirates should do or shouldn't do. And, I don't come in here all fancy, my luscious locks like Kevin Gorman to try to win you over. And on top of that, too, I mean, Kevin Gorman, who's the last Kevin G that riled up Pittsburgh? Kevin Griffin. And what do you have to do? He had to go private and delete his tweet. So you can't trust Kevin G's. So it's clearly me.
The whole future banks on a KG right now in terms of offense. So I think that puts me over the top as well.
That's a good point. It's a good point. All right. Well, the poll is live. So if you're watching this on your television, if you're watching it on Facebook, if you're watching it on Twitter, hop on over to YouTube on your phone or your computer or wherever. Make sure you vote on that poll. I'm going to give you about 60 seconds to vote on this thing. But make sure you hop on YouTube, vote on the poll right now. While you're doing that, I'm going to tell you a few things about just like the video, subscribe to the page. There's a new feature where you can hype videos now. Go ahead and click that button if you see it. But yeah, go ahead and click all of the buttons. And yeah, like I said, hopefully you all enjoyed this. Second one of the off season. We're gonna do this every other Friday. Last time we had 4 other panelists. Next time 4 new panelists. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed this. Like I said, if you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, let's get those votes rolling in. I'm gonna give you like 10 more seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Poll is closed. The winner of the poll and the winner of tonight's episode of The Point. It was a tight race with 33% of the votes. So we even have a majority winner, 33%. Kevin Gorman.
Yes. They pick the age over the beauty, I guess.
Congrats, Gorman.
Clearly.
How about a victory speech? You want to do a victory speech?
I just want to thank all the Pirates fans out there who have endured 6 consecutive losing seasons under this regime. I think it's 7 total, for being there with me and keeping the faith and enjoying every second of Pirates baseball, win or lose, which we know we've had much more of the latter than the former.
Good stuff. Well, hey, I appreciate all of you for hopping on here. Again, Kevin Gorman, Trib Live, Adam Shorr, Bucco Bantr, Nathan and DiNardo from North Shore 9. Make sure you are checking out all of their stuff. I'm Jim. This was North Shore 9 presented by FanDuel. You just watched The Point. We'll see you later. See you guys. All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.